Hey guys, it's Ben the Coin Geek at Old Pueblo Coin in Tucson, Arizona. Thanks for being here today where I have my new purchases video from the Carson City Mint. You can see here I've got this nice little mint medal that was struck at the Carson City Mint on the coin press. And pretty cool. This was actually, we'll get back to this here in just a little bit. We'll talk a little bit more about that guy. As always, like, share, subscribe to the YouTube stuff. When I am at shows, I am always trying to find a few things, a little bit of everything. I never know what I'm going to buy. Never know what I'm going to see. This first group of stuff, by the way, get some popcorn going. This is going to be, I'll try to run through this stuff, but we've got a lot here, and I'm going to try to just throw it all into one video. So this here is a 1917 D Lincoln cent. So as I was saying, before I got so rudely interrupted by myself, this first group of stuff is stuff that I'm considering sending off to CAC, but I'm going to go ahead and just price it as I got it in here. So this 1917 Denver Mint, 63 brown, real pleasing coin. I need to clean the case. It's got a little bit of some stuff across the front, but really a nice coin for a 17D. This guy is, I think I got him at $139 on that guy. All right, so I'm going to do things as close to groups as I can. Like I said, this first group of stuff is all stuff that's probably going to go to CAC for stickering, but it's for sale right now. So this 1936 old green holder, Walking Liberty half dollar, is MS63. Really cool coin. I mean, to find a really nice walker from the 30s and an old holder, it's affordable. This is 125 bucks. Yeah, it's over gray sheet, understood, yada yada. You know, but it's good. It's a cool coin. Next up is a coin that I thought was just beautiful, and I may be the only one, and that happens. This 1921 from Denver, NGC 65. Has just like a really cool tone that comes from being inside of a holder. You can see it's got some fun die crack action there all the way around the stars. Really smooth open fields, smooth cheek. I like it. Kind of a little bit of a brownish burnt orange look to it. Very neat coin, but this guy here is 400 bucks on that guy. I always like to try to find a nice high-grade piece dollar when I can. This 23 is NGC graded MS66. A lot of the higher grade coins that I see, piece dollars are funny. There's a whole lot of them that I see that I don't care for that are higher graded. And then I'll find coins that are graded 63 or 64 that I think are stunning. I think the key on this coin is that it really has very clean everything. And it's got this little bit of a slight grayish, purplish hue to it. And just a nice gentle tone. Oh yeah, how about a price? I think I've got that at $460 on that guy. Kind of a similar look is this particular Texas. This is the 1937 San Francisco minted variety in an MS67. The Texas come pretty nice, and there you kind of got a shot of why I liked the coin. Just had actually a very nice original skin to it, nice original tone. One of the busiest coins of all time. There's the S. And just all that stuff going on there. This guy, I think we had it 500 on that guy. But a nice original tone to it overall. Don't fall in love with a pretty face, Ben. Here we go, 1938 San Francisco, MS67 full bands. I fell in love with the girl. Look at that. Just a real pretty coin. Yeah, this guy here, I think we've got at about 630 on that guy. 630, so it's kind of expensive. By the way, so a lot of the stuff that I'm thinking about sending to CAC, most of it's a little bit pricier. Some of it's not. The other thing I was going to say when I'm traveling, I try to pick up a variety of stuff as far as the overall price points go and types of items, US, world, paper. I try to get a little bit of everything. So this particular dollars, year 1900 MS66. And this guy is, I think I've got that guy priced at 500. Okay, and then I got, I think one more that I had set aside that was kind of a showstopper. This 81S is MS67 star. And I just thought this was a really cool looking coin. Nothing related to gray sheet on this particular piece. This is 1750 on this guy. And just a neat looking coin. All right, now let's go on to something completely different. Oh, speaking of neat coins, how's this for a neat coin? This 81cc is a 64 dimple, 64 plus. Interesting coin. It's the type of coin that from 4 to 5 goes from like 2,000 to 7,000. It's just got one of those crazy jumps on it. The reverse is stunning. The coin pops on both sides. You can really get, you keep that, not only the deep mirror, but the cameo. The cameos there are basically like every angle possible, so very cool piece. This guy we have priced at 4,000. General rule of thumb on plus grades, you kind of want to always be under the halfway point, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense, but I've never counted on making sense, guys. So here I have a couple of raw bank notes and a few certified ones. This 1864 Confederate note's cool. It's has a strong centerfold to it. Yep. There it is, the centerfold, and just a nice looking note. And this is $100 on this guy. So bought a couple raw notes because they were pretty. Here's the 1864 $2 bill also. So the ones and twos are actually some of the tougher notes. And this one also is a note that I would call AU. It doesn't have the strong centerfold. I know. The angel's on the other note, guys. So this one is 1 1/4 on this guy. And just a lovely example of a Confederate $2 bill. And speaking of Confederate, this one is actually graded by PCGS. That's a XF40. That's $125 on this guy. Just another nice example of a note. This one is not uniface. All right, and I was in love with this note. Okay, so this is a Connecticut note from 1780, and there's kind of like hoard notes out there that are really cool, where the paper is just gorgeous, white. And this hole in the middle, that's the cut cancel. That's a common thing for notes that have been redeemed, and something that we see. But this note here has just such a cool look to it. Bright white paper, nice embossing, 5 shillings with the date. And then you got these guys on the side, which are just fantastic. So, very cool. Very cool. So this one is $350 on that guy. For some reason, I bought a note from Woodland, California, partially because I thought it was interesting that it was called the Bank of Woodland National Association. It's kind of a weird name with the association on there. And this note is a VF30. A little bit scarcer bank. This guy we've got at $425 on that guy. Gonna make a mess. And okay, so this is one that's like just fun. So I paid $210 for this note that's number 210, and I'll sell it at 210. I just thought it was fun to own. A whole lot of 210 going on there. So, maybe I paid too much, but you know what? I thought it was cool. high grade note. 210 to me, 210 to you. And 210 to Yuma. 310 to Yuma, maybe. Okay, here we go with one of the earliest banknotes. So 1862. You know, I showed you a colonial note, but really up until the time these guys came out, there wasn't a national currency. Got to get the sticker out of the way so you can see the note. But this national currency that came out, legal tender notes, this note is legal tender. This is the origin of the term greenback. So when people are talking about greenbacks, it was these guys, 1862. And of course, all loans, debts, all that good stuff here. Super cool note. Beat up a little bit here. This is a fine that has some tearing to it. You can see some of the tearing and whatnot. But what a cool piece of history that is. That is $500 on that guy. And here's the angels, sort of. I mean, little kids sometimes are called cherubs. I know they're supposed to have wings. I couldn't resist this note. This note is not a rare note per se. This is a remainder. So when you see the term remainder, it just means that they had stacks of them left over, that no one printed the serial number, no one signed them. But this note has so many things going on that is amazing. If someone buys this note and you don't get a shot at it, just go on eBay. You can probably find them at kind of the same price point. Mostly they're going to be high grade. They're mostly going to be $200 to $300 range. Lower grade notes are a little bit less. But this note is from Vermont, but it is from Jamaica, Vermont. Oh, by the way, it's a $3 bill. And it has 3 coin icons on it, all of them $1. And I'm sure the kids all represent something different. You know, and this is supposed to, I think, be a very peaceful looking lady, but a part of me thinks she's about to backhand those kids. American Banknote Company printed this note from the 1860s. And super cool. So that one, I think we've got at $300. And super fun. All right, let's get into, maybe I've got some world stuff in here. Oh, okay, here we go. I bought some raw stuff unnecessarily, and I'm going to fly through these. This is a 90S. These numbers on here is what I gave the guy. And I'll have all these priced at approximately 10% over what I paid. I just thought they were kind of cool. It's an 89S. Looks like a slider. He had it I don't know what he had it labeled as. A couple of 84S's that are kind of that XF 45, 40 range kind of thing. And then a couple 91CCs. This one is in that AU50 kind of range with a little bit of a rim ding. And then this one was interesting. Looks a little bit like that 21D did with that color on it, like it had been in a cellophane pouch or something for a while. Reverse looks uncirculated, obverse a little bit touched up there as far as like having some chatter and stuff. That guy, yeah. So anyways, we'll figure that out. We didn't have time to, I generally at shows I try to avoid buying raw just because it's so much, you know, it's just so much. All right, next up a 79cc. This is a fine 12 on that guy. Kind of a nice piece. That's $415 on that guy. Got a little bit of that toning to it actually on the reverse. Sometimes people like the toning. And I was really excited to pick up this little group of half dollars certified. So here's a 1824 and a good 6. You don't see these certified a lot, and when you do, they're oftentimes not straight graded. But just kind of a fun group. Usually you don't see them certified because they're not expensive enough, but that guy is $80. Next up, I have an 1818 in a fine 15 holder. And this guy is going to be, I think I got him at 140. Next up, 1825 in a good 4. Kind of a neat date. Just a well-worn example. That one is 75 on that guy. 1813. Some of these might be varieties, by the way. I don't know what variety these are. Unless you pay for the variety, they don't put it on there. So 1813, good 6. Nice example for a good 6. This guy is 120. And then I've got this 1810 in a fine 15 holder. And this guy I've got at 190. All right. Rock and roll. Okay, speaking of world, I do have a world coin here. This is actually a US world coin, if that makes sense. This is a Philippines 5 centavo. That is a proof. And once you get the angles, you kind of see, similar if you collect proof V-nickels, these particular coins actually have a little bit of a similar vibe. 1904 proof. And proof 65. And this guy I've got at $600 on that guy. All right, 1927. This one's an interesting coin here. This is AU58, and just really a pretty coin. It's very much so a slider. Like you look at this coin, if I had this coin raw, I'd be tempted to say it's uncirculated. Super nice piece. If you like some toning to it, 150. I think is the number on that guy. Some of these things I'm going to have to verify. 22S, this is one of those dates that is really interesting because they're almost always AU. So to find a nice MS63 coin, full luster, nice and fresh looking MS63. This guy I think we've got at about 110. All right. All right. Next up, another coin that's really tough to get. See this 24S, you can kind of see some of the, when we use the term slider, you start seeing those really fine hairlines and stuff on the cheek. This is a tough coin, a 24S, to get nice. They come ugly and they come circulated. They don't come correct. This guy is 215 on this AU58. All right, I think I'm going to go ahead and spare you the rest, and we're going to do the rest for tomorrow, just so you have a life outside of here, right? So we're going to go ahead and roll film again here in just a minute. Thanks for being here, guys. I'm Ben the Coin Geek. You can subscribe by clicking on the owl button in the corner and watch more videos on the right side of the screen. Thanks.